Hello and welcome to Cambridge Answers. Chapter number 1 Story Time. Exercise 1.1 What makes a story a story? The Pliny Adventures. The only way to learn history is to bring it to life. Choose what you want to learn about, open the book, and let history teach you, announced Madame Histoire, the international school's fourth form history teacher. Fike and Jihan didn't expect Madame's words to be literally true. So imagine their surprise when they followed her instructions in the school library and met Pliny. Pliny whisks his new companions away on a whirlwind adventure through ancient Roman history, meeting a host of historical characters along the way, from Caesars to slaves. But Madame's instructions did not include the end of the lesson. How were they meant to get back to school? Skim read the book cover and blurb in Activity 4 below and then fill in this reading log. Today's date, you have to write the date over here, title The Pliny Adventures, author B.C. Lovett, publisher Scroll Publishing. Write the names of 4 characters mentioned on the book cover: Fike, Pliny, Jihan, Madame Histoire. Complete the sentence to explain who the main characters are in the story. I think Fike, Jihan, and Pliny are the main characters because the 3 of them go on the adventure. Some books can be more than one genre. Circle the likely genres for the book below: adventure story, historical story, mystery story, fantasy story, story set in an imaginary world. Do you think you would enjoy reading the Pliny Adventures? Why or why not? I think I would enjoy reading the Pliny Adventures because it combines historical elements with a magical, adventurous storyline. The idea of being transported into ancient Rome history and meeting historical characters like Caesars and slaves sound both educational and entertaining. Additionally, the mystery of how Fike and Jihan will return to school adds an exciting twist to the plot. Exercise 1.2 Extend your reading range. Fact: true thing, something that you know is true, exists, or has happened. There are 6 eggs in the box. Fiction: the type of book or story that is written about imaginary characters and events, and not based on real people and facts. The cat put on his best clothes and drove to his friend's party. Decide whether the sentences are likely to be fact or fiction. Write your choice in the box. I saw 6 polar bears today in the school canteen. Fiction: Neeta will be 10 years old in June. Fact: he put on the cloak and felt an enormous power surge through him. Fiction: the field was full of mud and rubbish. Fact: Mrs. DeLille has 3 children. Fact: Maya looked and felt reassured that all 3 moons were still there. Fiction: write 2 factual sentences. The Great Wall of China is the longest wall in the world. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Write 2 fictional sentences. Dragons guarded the library stacks with a fiery breath. With the flick of a wrist, the teenage princess transformed the pumpkin carriage back into a sleek spaceship. Explain in 2 to 3 sentences why you think the Pliny Adventures is fact or fiction. Use at least 2 examples from the book cover in session 1.1. Activity 4 in your answer. Fiction, because the events are impossible in real life. First, Fike and Jihan meet Pliny by just opening a book, which is not possible in real life. Second, they go on magical adventure through ancient Roman history, meeting famous people, which can only happen in a made-up story. Exercise 1.3 Read and present an extract. Narrative is when the narrator tells the story. Dialogue is the word characters say to each other enclosed by speech marks. Don't make us join the library, Marty begged. It's too dangerous. You start a new line whenever a different person speaks. Underline the words the characters actually say. Please hang up your satchels neatly, reminded the sports teacher. The girls told their mum what had happened at school. It was hilarious, they said. I'd like to help you, the teacher said, but you must explain it to me. You must be quiet in the library, explained the librarian, because people are trying to read. No, said Shumi firmly to the dog. You're not allowed on the sofa. It's for people, not dogs. Add speech marks in the correct places to indicate the dialogue in these sentences. What have you got for lunch? Asked Zed. I really enjoy sports day every year, I told my grandmother. The principal announced. The school will be collecting plastic to make eco bricks this term. Give that to me, she said. It is mine. It feels like ages until holidays, moaned Lindy Way. I wish they were next week. Rewrite the paragraph with the correct punctuation to show the dialogue and narrative. Remember to start a new line when a new person speaks. Do we really have to go, Mum? Asked Marty and Will in unison. Yes, it will be good for you, said Mum. I'm not going to change my mind. In that case, grumbled Will, I had better wear protective clothing. I don't want to be caught out by that spud gun. Nor me, laughed Marty. I'm super scared of Spud Murphy. Exercise 1.4. Check your understanding. Draw lines to join up the pairs of homophones. Practice, board, device, advice, ate, allowed, days. Write the homophones in Activity 1 in the correct columns. Practice, device, advice, board, days, ate. Verbs, practice, devise, ate, allowed, days, advise. Adjectives, ate, bored. Adverbs, allowed. Across, where, stare, shore, whole. Down, paste, guest, course, berry, here, one, cereal. Exercise 1.5. Work with verb and tenses. Verbs tell you what someone or something does, is, or has. Verb tenses are different forms of the verb that show when something takes place, whether it has already happened, is happening now, or will happen in the future. Theo walked to the classroom earlier, past tense. Marichka walks to the classroom every morning, present tense. They will walk to the classroom later, future tense. Regular verbs add ed to the verb to form the past tense. For example, want will become wanted. But some verbs have an irregular past tense form. Fill in the irregular past tense verbs in the sentences. Will worried that the librarian had a grudge against all children. Marty told Mum that Mrs. Murphy kept a spud gun under her desk. Will and Marty went to the classes because Mum said it was educational. If Mrs. Murphy saw children talking, she shot them with her spud gun. Mrs. Murphy wore a mean expression as she wrote a complaint about the noise. Circle the correct words to complete the sentences in the past tense and cross out the verbs forms that do not exist. He hit his head last night. Marty's foot hurt after he dropped the vase on it. The window shut when the wind blew. My mum split the sweets fairly between us all. My dad let us go to bed late last night. Last week, Will set the table for dinner. Marty had never spread jam on his toast before. The bubble burst and detergent splashed in my eye. For detailed solutions to exercises 1.6 to 1.12, visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/CambridgeAnswers. You'll also find comprehensive videos for both learner and workbooks from grade 1 to 5. Don't miss out. Take advantage of a free trial today. Link is in the description.